SS Maori was a shore, Savile and Avalon liner weighing 5,371 tons. On the 5th of August 1909 it sailed out of Table Bay, bound for New Zealand. The weather was foul with rain and fog and rough seas as the ship made its way down the Atlantic coastline of the Cape Peninsula. Shortly after midnight, the vessel slammed into the rocks at Duiker Point off the coast of the Karbonkerberg near Hout Bay, just around the corner from Sandy Bay. As she rammed the rocks, her hull was split open and twisted around so that the stern ended up facing the land. When she ran aground, the master of the ship ordered the lifeboats lowered and the men on board clambered into them for safety. 3 boats hit the water and 2 of these were lost during the storm that night. Some of the men in the 3rd boat managed to get ashore and made their way to a farmhouse belonging to a Mr. Bester to raise the alarm. When the news of the ship's grounding eventually reached Hout Bay, a local fisherman and his son climbed along the treacherous mountainside in the dark until they found the ship. As they could see no life aboard the ship, they made a fire on the mountain to keep warm. This must have attracted the attention of the men trapped on the Maori, as shortly afterwards the fisherman saw lights on the ship. When he realized the grave danger the people on the ship were in, the fisherman immediately sent his son back to Hout Bay to call for help. From his vantage point on the shore, he could see the ship was stuck fast on the rocks and huge waves were breaking over her. He also noticed people clinging to the higher decks to the foremast, waiting to be rescued. After many attempts, a line was eventually passed to the ship and a safety rope was rigged to the shore. Of the 14 men left on the ship after the lifeboats had gone, 11 men were rescued by being pulled ashore on the safety line. 1 was washed away by a huge wave, never to be seen again, while attempting the crossing. All in all, out of the 53 men on board, 32 lost their lives that night. The wreck was eventually washed off the rocks by the waves and sank in 25 meters of water, where she still lies today in Maori Bay. Today, 2023, many artifacts have been removed from the wreck, including the anchors that now rest at the Circle in Hout Bay. The big question has always been, where is the Maori Bell? This is the story of finding the SS Maori ship's bell. Left it in the bush.
Left the bell in the bush. That's a story. It's a story on its own. Oh, you can go around that. No.
You better pull in there to that bush. It's not a heavy.
Yes. He's not joking.
Well, here's the bell. We finally got it. And it's been donated to the NSRI.
This has been one incredible journey. So in 1990, there was an amnesty for all the people that had reft artifacts, and the National Monuments Council had us fill in documents which declared all the things we had. And at that stage, there was a photograph in the Argus of Bill Duminy and Bernd Kutzer holding artifacts from the Maori. And then Bill disappeared, and for the last 30 years, I've been looking for this bell. And here it is. Unbelievable. And it's got
now you're touching it. Now you're touching it.
And look at that.
Yeah.
1890. It's even got the clanger in it. No, there must be another one. That is unbelievable.
Yes.
What a story. And I mean, this thing, so Bill had the bell, it was stolen, and somebody phoned him and said that it was in a scrapyard. And they recovered it from the scrapyard before they melted it down. Can you believe it?
Good grace.
That's incredible.
Yes. That is amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
And you're holding a bell that is made in 1893. And it's got a...
Correct. And I mean, that the Maori was wrecked in 1909.
Yeah.
So it's like more than 110 years now that it's been underwater.
Yeah.
Well, not all of it's underwater. Some of it's in my bar.
Okay, you're going to lift it on your own. Come on, you've got to do this.
Yeah.
You've got to do it.
That's incredible.
Sure.
Look at that. Just roll it over onto it. There you go. Not going to roll anywhere, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we can say now that we had Wortelgat. That's where the bell has been sitting for all these years.
Now it's going home, back towards Hout Bay.
Yeah, which is amazing.
So this is the first stage of cleaning. This is a mixture of salt, vinegar and flour mixed together in equal parts, painted onto the brass artifact, left for about an hour, and then washed off with water and soap later. And that's 5 meters from the surface, so it goes down to the hull, which is pretty. Yeah. And then it's one of the most intact wrecks in South Africa, so it's still you can see the whole shape. Yeah. And it goes out about 30 or 40.
Yeah. How does it feel to be here?
Well, firstly, I know my dad would have been very chuffed if he could have been here. There's no question about that. I think for us as a family, there's been something about the Maori Bell, and the Maori history. It's just kind of been in the background, but it's something that we've been conscious of for many, many years. Every time you have to move the bell, of course, you're very conscious of it. But it's moving. It's very moving. And even though it wasn't in our family, for any other connection except that my dad, my great grandfather, in fact, actually bought it from the shopkeeper in Woodstock. It still has meaning, and it's a connection to my dad as well. So for all of us, it's just something very, very special.
You're glad it's landing on serious.
Totally. I think he would be, as I said to you guys the other day, I said he would be so moved and so appreciative that it could be used in the way that it's going to be used. So very
Awesome. Fantastic. And you're happy to have it?
No, look, I said to Alice, I've got a personal connection. I've done, almost probably 1,000 dives on it. I mean, I've really dived here a lot. But I think from a shipwreck history point of view, from a maritime rescue point of view, 53 crewmen on this boat and 32 of them died. So, that's a huge loss, and kind of underlines the need for a rescue service in South Africa. So that's the kind of connection. And I think the stories of the Maori haven't been captured. I mean, they lost the manifest of the Maori in the London fire and things like that. So I think, and I'm busy researching the Maori now, So we'll go looking for these stories of how those 3 lifeboats, how many made them,
Yep.
where did they go to, what did they bring ashore.
Yep.
The Argus and the Cape Towns were going in the 1900s,
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
so we
Yeah,
might be able to
records.
find that because there's photographic records.
Yeah.
You've seen photographs from the shore.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to research that and try and line all these stories up. And then of course the story of the Bell, your great grandfather buying the Bell,
Yeah.
it being passed on, then getting stolen and then coming back.
Amazing.
And then being
That is
declared in
incredible.
1990 and then disappearing. For the last 30 years I didn't know where it was until Bruce said, I know, Alistair. and now the Bell's come alive again. I think that story in itself is absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
It was in our house in Mowbray for many years, and then Dad ended up taking it out to the house at Oudeschip near Stanford, and so yeah, it's just crazy. I know he always wanted to put it up in some way,
we're
but
doing that,
he just
yeah.
but you guys are going to do that. But honestly, really, I mean, your point about just the value of what you guys, the context and the value of what you guys are doing. It means just so much, honestly. So we appreciate the opportunities.
No, thank you. I think it's very special. I think for me personally, but I think for the rescue service and the connections are there. So.
It's fantastic.
Great.
I'm glad you're here to see it all.
So Bruce, how do you feel about this?
He's also dived here several times.
I've dived here quite often now. I'm excited.
So there's a couple of wrecks
Yeah.
in the bay. So the boss is lying on top of Oakburn. Oakburn was a sister kind of ship of Maori, very similar construction.
Okay.
Same coach house, and I'm still looking for the Bell of the